April 1st, 2026, 3 Turkish drones crossed into Iranian airspace and struck 2 islands in the Persian Gulf with precision munitions. Iran screamed to the United Nations. The UAE didn't deny it, they just said they reserved the right to self-defense. That single sentence changed everything in the Middle East. Because what the world witnessed that day wasn't just another Middle Eastern skirmish, it was a demonstration that Iran's entire strategy of regional dominance was about to collapse, and the weapon being used to destroy it wasn't American or European, it was Turkish. Right now, across the Arabian Peninsula, something unprecedented is happening. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, and Iraq are all racing to acquire the same Turkish weapons that just humiliated Iranian defenses. They're buying drone swarms, laser defense systems, and artificial intelligence-guided interceptors at a pace that screams desperation, and they have every reason to be desperate. For 2 years, Iran has been choking the life out of the Gulf. They turned the Strait of Hormuz into a weapon, blocking 20 million barrels of oil per day. They flooded the region with suicide drones that cost a few $1,000s each, forcing Saudi Arabia to burn through million-dollar Patriot missiles just to stay alive. They armed militias in Iraq and Yemen, turning them into forward strike platforms that could hit refineries and airports hundreds of kilometers away. The economic toll was staggering. The psychological impact was worse. But Iran made a fatal miscalculation. They assumed the Gulf states would either surrender or keep bleeding money on overpriced Western defense systems that couldn't solve the fundamental problem. Instead, the Gulf turned to Ankara, and Turkey offered them something they desperately needed. Weapons that had been tested in real wars, delivery times measured in months instead of years, and a partner who wouldn't lecture them about human rights while their cities burned. Saudi Arabia moved first on the defensive side, signing contracts for the Korkut anti-drone defense system. This isn't your grandfather's anti-aircraft gun. Korkut mounts a 35mm cannon that fires programmable airburst munitions. The system locks onto low-altitude threats in milliseconds using AI-supported radar, then destroys them mid-flight with clouds of shrapnel that detonate precisely at the target's location. It's designed specifically to handle Iran's signature weapon. Swarms of cheap drones flying low and slow to evade traditional missile defenses. But Saudi Arabia didn't stop with bullets. At the Saha Defense Expo, Riyadh expressed serious interest in Turkish directed energy weapons. These are truck-mounted laser systems with names that sound like science fiction. Güçlürçü, Che-Ria, Gurkalp, and Mekfer. They work by focusing high-powered beams of light on incoming drones, burning through control surfaces until the aircraft falls out of the sky. The cost per engagement is nearly zero. No missile, no ammunition, just electricity. Think about what this means for a country that's been hemorrhaging money trying to shoot down Iranian drones with million-dollar interceptors. Saudi Arabia can now reserve its expensive Patriot batteries for the real existential threats, ballistic missiles, and use cheap laser shots to handle everything else. The facilities they're protecting aren't symbolic targets. The refineries at Tehran and Ras Tanura sit just 300 to 500 kilometers from the Iranian coast. These are some of the largest oil processing centers on the planet. A successful strike there doesn't just hurt Saudi Arabia, it sends global energy prices into orbit. While Saudi Arabia focused on defense, the UAE chose a different path. Abu Dhabi wanted the ability to strike back. In May 2026, the UAE's state-owned defense conglomerate Edge Group signed 2 agreements with Baykar that changed the entire strategic equation. The first deal integrated Edge's Al-Tariq precision-guided munitions onto Baykar's Akinji drones. Al-Tariq is a modular guidance kit that converts dumb bombs into smart weapons with ranges exceeding 100 kilometers. Mount them on the Akinji, which operates above 40,000 feet with mission endurance measured in double-digit hours, and you have a long-range strike platform capable of hitting hardened targets deep inside Iran without ever entering the engagement envelope of most air defense systems. The second agreement made the UAE and Turkey partners in the global defense trade. This wasn't just about buying weapons, it was about co-developing capability and selling it to others. The timing tells you everything you need to know. These deals were signed weeks after the April 1st strikes. The UAE isn't interested in waiting for Iran to attack first. They want the ability to preempt, deter, and if necessary, retaliate with overwhelming precision. Kuwait's situation is more desperate than most people realize. Positioned at the northern edge of the Gulf, Kuwait sits within minutes of flight time from Iranian launch sites. A Shahed 136 suicide drone launched from the Iranian coast can reach Kuwaiti airspace in under 10 minutes. That leaves almost no margin for error. The Kuwaiti Ministry of Defense responded by signing agreements with a consortium of Turkish firms for Ekinci drones and HISR air defense systems. HISR comes in two variants that create overlapping fields of fire. The short-range system handles drones and helicopters within 15 kilometers. The long-range version extends coverage out to 25 to 60 kilometers for cruise missiles and fixed-wing aircraft. The Ekinci drones give Kuwait something it has never possessed before, the ability to strike back. If Iran launches attacks from coastal bases, Kuwait can respond not just defensively but offensively, hitting launch sites, command centers, and logistics hubs across the border. For a small country that has always depended on others for protection, this represents a fundamental shift in strategic thinking.